Gary's mum was one of my favorite people. Uh, we had some wonderful times together. Right. Yeah, well, I had actually, it was in my first, right at the beginning of my first year in Cambridge as an undergraduate, and I had decided that apart from my studies, one of the things I would do would be to find out about other religions than Christianity, which I'd been brought up in. And so at the beginning of the year in Cambridge, as in probably lots of other universities, there was the Societies Fair, and there were societies for everything you can imagine. And there was a table for Society for the Study of Religions. So that was where I went, and I got their program. And actually, there were no Baha'is in the university at that time, but somehow they'd wheedled to have a table at the Society's Fair. And I did pick up a leaflet from their stand, but I wasn't, at that moment, I wasn't interested in pursuing it because I wanted to know about all religions, not one in particular. So I went to the other and got the program. And I just was lucky because early on in their program, Ian Semple was giving a talk about the Baha'i faith. And so his talk seemed to answer the question of why there are so many different religions, because I'd had this idea in my mind, which I didn't think there was an answer to. Couldn't it be that the other religions are somehow related to God's purpose? Because I couldn't believe that a just God would just guide such a small part of his creation. Because when I was at school, we were shown a map and it showed the dominant religions in the world, and it had a few statistics on it. And I think my vague memory is that Christians were down as being about 10% of the world's population. I thought, what sort of God would just guide 10% of his creation? He must have done something for all the rest. So that helped to answer my question. And then he gave me the address of, at that time, Cambridge had its Baha'i Centre. And it was very, very close to my college. So I went along there, and I was really spoiled with the people who were coming to do the Firesides there. David Hoffman was coming once every fortnight to do a fireside. People like Ian Semple and international visitors to London. Often, they would come to Rutland Gate, to the Baha'i Centre, and say, where can we go? And they say, well, Cambridge is quite close, so why don't you go to Cambridge? So we had all sorts of fascinating people coming. Hassan Sabri, and we had many visits, well, several visits during my time there, from Mr. Faizi, because his daughter May, who's now in Cyprus, came to finish her schooling. So she would have been 17, 18 then, to finish her time in school. And so he came to visit her, and so we had some wonderful times with him. Absolutely unforgettable. Actually, well, without going on too long, I was, the thing that really affected me most potently, emotionally, was reading the early history of the faith. And that got me incredibly excited. And the thing that happened, it was quite strange. I was full of all these meetings and these discussions that we were having, and I was invited to a party by other students. And it was very strange. I must have been in a very extraordinary state of mind, because I went into this party and people were chatting, and there was loud music, and they were drinking and so on. And I had this feeling that they all had masks on, that nobody was being their true selves. It was false. And to me, it seemed like hell. So I thought, well, I must go. I must leave this party. I had only been there for about 10 minutes, I think. And I just fled, and I literally ran away from it. I felt as if leaving hell behind me. And I didn't even think about where I was running. And I just automatically ran to the Baha'i Center and went in and said, I've got to be a Baha'i. So that's how it happened.